Welcome back, everyone, to Halloween Haunts 365.com, the podcast. I'm Jared.
Hi, I'm Terry.
I didn't mess it up.
No, you
I came
didn't.
close.
That was close.
All right, we have a fun episode for you today, but first, we're going to have you check out the Horror Shed podcast because it's a lot of fun, and we have a new episode about true crime this time. All right, and now we're going to introduce from Haunted Overload, Sister Luci. How are you tonight?
I am doing great. How are you guys doing?
Very good.
We're good. We're good. We just got back from a Christmas haunt, so that was fun.
Oh, that's always good.
Oh, it was such a good time.
I love that we can still, carry haunt stuff into Christmas.
Yes.
I mean, kind of best of both worlds, if you ask me.
All right, so where are you from?
So I am actually originally from Salem, Massachusetts.
Okay.
And I now currently live in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Okay. So what was it like growing up in Salem? Because I'm sure that was my wife's question.
A mess. It honestly, it overall with the history and everything, it is incredible. I wish a lot of people would go there more for the history of everything. I know obviously October, the streets are flooded. Even now, September, the streets start to get flooded, and up until November 1st, it's an absolute madhouse. But it honestly hasn't even been, I want to say, for me personally, remembering like the last 10 years that it started getting really crazy. Before, the streets were flooded. It was a little bit of a madhouse, but my goodness. And even this year, like with Hocus Pocus 2 coming out, it was
crazy.
The most, yeah, it was the most. I have friends who still live down there. I have friends who work there, and they were like, there were days where they honestly guesstimated it to be busier than Times Square at some point.
I wouldn't doubt it at all.
Yep.
We went right before we came to see you guys. And that Saturday?
Yes. No, we left Friday.
Friday, yes, because we went there Friday night. And even at Friday at 10, it was already time. You couldn't move.
No.
So I was like, thank God we planned this out.
I can't imagine it being there on a Saturday.
And even like the weekdays started getting crazy too. And it's like, that's when because usually like weekends, of course, like by 10 a.m., forget it, you're parking in Beverly and walking. So
yeah, pretty much. She's got a baby Yoda.
I saw that.
I do, yes. We got that one. And then we actually have a 2-foot tall blown up one underneath the Christmas tree as well. So.
She's got a baby Yoda collection.
Oh.
So how long have you been haunt acting?
So Sister Luci is actually my first time being a haunt actor. I just reached my 5th year this past October at Haunted Overload. So yeah, so I pretty much started off as a baby, and I just kind of jumped on in and hoped for the best, and here I am.
Yeah. So my next question, which should be my next question because I should have probably just knew that was going to be the answer. So you started at Haunted Overload about 5 years ago.
Correct.
What made you do that? Just 5?
So I actually went to Eric's home haunt back when it was in Exeter. He used to do it like out of his garage and kind of backyard type of deal. And of course, being from Salem, my parents had a home haunt majority of my childhood growing up. So I was always a part of it, absolutely loved it. And then my best friend moved up to Exeter. We went to Eric's haunt, and I was in love with it then. And then I was actually supposed to join 10 years ago now, but with my work schedule, it wasn't able to happen. So I had added Eric on Facebook back then. And there was one year where I just went as a demonic nun for Halloween, and Eric reached out to me and was like, "Hey, how would you like to use that character in the haunt?" So I was like, "Hey, yeah, absolutely, let's go for it." So
That's very cool.
yeah,
So that's pretty much where that character came from, a Halloween costume, huh?
that was it. It was kind of, I thought it was kind of, funny in a way, like a nun and demon, and bringing them both together because essentially they both clash. So I was like, oh, so funny. And then I was like, oh, wait, I can actually go somewhere with this now. So
It is a cool costume.
Yeah, it is. I'm
thank you. Thank
gonna
you.
show because I have you cut out for the thumbnail with the horns and everything. Looks
Oh,
awesome.
yes. Yes, those the horns that I currently wear now, the light up ones, were actually made by an actor who she is also at Haunted Overload. Her name's Ashley, but her main character's name is Toxie, and she's actually in our clown tent. She also became a roamer last year, so you'll kind of find her all around the haunt, whether it's in the circus tent or roaming. But yeah, she handmade those for me. She wired them all up and everything, and I'm still in awe over them.
Yeah, I was in awe and over when as soon as I looked up at you, I was like, "Holy shit!"
A lot of people are like, "Where can I get those?" I'm like, "You can't."
Yeah,
So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that haunt you can't find.
No, no, nope, definitely can't.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself. What do you do? Like, what do you do for work outside of Haunted Overload?
So I work for a small business in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Pretty much we sell mainly fall and winter attire, some spring attire. I just put together orders. I do Amazon orders, I do big business orders. We ship all throughout the US and Canada as well. So pretty much Monday through Friday, my OCD is getting cured by making nice little packages and sending them out to everybody. Before that, I was doing hairdressing, but then when the pandemic hit, it was kind of a hard career to do. And
Yeah,
then even after the pandemic, it was kind of a hard career to do. So,
yeah, it's tough. So you guys are pretty busy right now, huh?
oh my gosh, busy as an under from Sunday to Monday, we packaged 747 individual Amazon orders.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
so yeah, and you can tell like when each state and everything's getting hit with snow because like we get massive floods from like certain states of like, oh, okay, they must have just gotten snow. Like Mass, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island, we had a bunch of orders for them today and yesterday because of what we got.
Yeah, gotcha.
Mm.
So, what's your favorite type of scare in the haunt?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have always been a weak one for jump scares,
Okay.
just because obviously, when yeah, I mean, you don't expect it. You're admiring, and I'm much of an admirer as well. So of course, like I'm like caught in the moment, enjoying everything. And next thing I know, I'm getting, the shit scared out of me. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, nope, oh yeah, you definitely got me. I'm gonna go back to looking at this now. So
Yeah.
My wife is she's a victim of the slam panels.
oh yeah.
Even
Yeah,
though she knows what they look like, she's seen
Yeah.
thousands of them. It
Still gets me.
still gets her when that drops. It's so funny.
I mean, they definitely, especially like, I mean, even when you know it's there and like you're telling yourself, like, okay, it's gonna
Right.
happen, it's gonna happen. Even when it happens, you're like, God, shit, I knew that too.
Right.
That's, I mean, you just can't. I mean, I'll be walking to my scene in the haunt, and like I know where people are, and like I'll hear somebody be like, "Hey," and like, "Oh God, what?" And, like you don't expect. I'm like, "What?"
Oh, that's so funny.
It happens.
You didn't jump at Field though for Christmas at all.
I did not.
I'm shocked.
Wow.
I did not
I usually
jump.
get one good jump out of her an attraction. Well, a good attraction.
I think it was because there were so many actors and they like rushed us. Like not rushed,
Oh.
not fast rush. Like they all bombarded you.
Yeah.
So I was
Right.
just like a ping pong ball.
Yeah.
On
Right.
They pretty much.
because it was very intense.
Yeah, they're normally a 4 attraction haunt, but for the winter they do 2 attractions. So they pretty much took every actor, split them into 2. So each house probably had 100 actors
at least.
Oh wow, yeah,
for like
that's a
a
lot.
7-minute walkthrough.
So I mean,
Yeah.
everywhere
I did
you
Halloween
looked,
Horror Nights last year, and that's how it was. Like I was super, once again, I was more like gobsmacked at like just like everything, the decorations and how they had everything flooded out. But it was literally like every 2 seconds there was just like a scare actor, and I
Yeah.
was just like, I don't, where did you, I can't, what?
right?
I'm like, wow, there was at least like 16 tooth fairies in that place. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So HHN, what I'm gonna take a break from the questions. What did you think about HHN?
So I went last October, so I got to do the Beetlejuice house when the Beetlejuice house was there. Of course, I'm a fan. I have a Beetlejuice and sandworm tattoo. That was one of my favorite houses. I was a fan of it. I was a fan of all of them, I should say.
Yeah.
They were very unique. I loved the jack-o'-lantern one with the pumpkin demon at the end. That was probably my favorite out of all of them. I didn't like how you were like cattled through. Like you just go, 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 go. Like one of my friends, as bad as it sounds, she almost pissed herself. So she kind of like stopped to gather herself and they're like, you gotta keep moving, you gotta keep moving. And I'm like, she almost peed. And they're like, you gotta keep moving. You gotta keep moving. I'm
I
like, oh,
know.
all right.
Yeah,
So that
it's
was kind of like, oh.
yeah, like this set dressing is like second to none, but you're kind of just taken completely out of it every curve. Because you'll
Exactly.
see the blank wall and the dude in the blue polo telling you to hurry up. I'm
Yeah.
like, put him in a cloak or something, hide him.
Anything.
Like,
Anything.
that's my one big problem with HHN is just like everyone's like, oh, you're going to HHN? No.
Yeah. Nope. I mean, I'm happy because like I've never been. That was
Yeah.
actually my first time going in general to. I did all the parks, and we were excited for our Halloween Horror Nights. We were so excited. We're all big Halloween lovers. The streets were amazing. I thought those were cool. How each street had kind of like a different theme and
Oh yeah,
everything.
the scare zones. Yep.
Yeah, those. I mean, I like, and I liked those because you could admire the scenes and admire the costumes and everything. But it's like once you got into the houses, it was like okay, all right, this is okay, yeah, I kind of remember that scene.
And you probably have it worse because I mean you're at Haunted Overload, which is
Right.
Well, that's the thing, and that's why it's like, and I had so many of my friends being like, listen, you're gonna go in now that you're going in as a scare actor, it's gonna be a little different for you. And I'm like, no way. And then I was like, oh shit, they were right. It was definitely different for me.
yeah.
All my friends were
We
like,
went 2017.
I think
I
so.
think it was 2017. I would go back, but it has to be like an unbeatable lineup. Like I
yeah,
would need a Freddy House, a Michael. I need all. I want to go there for the licenses. I don't want to go
yes,
there for their shipwreck or their. It's and I hear they're beautiful. I hear they're really nice. They're original ideas, but
yeah,
I'm getting on a plane. I want to see movies. You know what I mean?
yes,
And then this
that's,
year they only had 4 licenses. I was just like,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
And one of them was like The Weekend.
yeah. What is
Yeah.
that?
I mean, like, I know, like, his music videos are a little, like, odd and kind of creepy, but I'm like, The Weekend. I'm like, really? I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, I'm for it. Like, because when I went, there was they had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house, which was
Yes,
it was cool. It was good. I liked it how they had that set up.
and
Once again,
they had Halloween '78.
yeah. So when I went, the three main houses was what's that TV show? House on Haunting Hill.
Oh yeah.
Yep, they had that one, they had the Beetlejuice one, and then they had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Those were like the three, like, because they only had three licensed ones when we went.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them, there was like a Tooth Fairy one, there was a Jack-o'-lantern one, there was a weird creepy doll one, of course, because you always got to put creepy dolls in for Halloween. So
I gotcha.
I
Yeah,
love
I
the
always try
creepy
to take
dolls.
like people that have experience in the field, their takes on HHN, so I don't feel alone. Like I always feel like maybe I'm being snobby, but it's just like it was cool, but it's gonna take a lot to get me because we're missing 4 haunts in that time period.
yeah. Well, that's the thing too, and like the sets were incredible.
Yeah,
Like I was like taken back by the sets, but even like some of the costumes, I'm like when we went into the Tooth Fairy house, like I know like they all have to look alike, but it was like kind of bare minimum, I'm like, you guys could have gone like really extreme with the tooth fairy, and she's just a lady with wonky teeth.
Yep, who comes out and hits a
Um,
button.
that's all she, yeah.
Yeah.
Or she like comes out and she's like, ah, and then goes back in. And I'm like, okay, what?
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm at Market Basket again on a Sunday. I'm like, come on.
So, what is the best scare you've pulled off that you can remember?
Oh my gosh, there's quite a few.
Okay.
Let me think. Um, I can go to my first year. I do remember one from my first year. And of course, like first year acting, you're all in your mind and you're like, oh my God, okay, I gotta be scary. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Best advice that I was given was just be in your zone. So I'm like, okay. And Sister Luci, before the church was built, she was in the body bag section, which to this day, that section still scares me past no return. But and I remember it was a tag team scare that I had with Jinx, who is one of our chainsaws. And this mother and daughter came walking into the section and they saw me. What they didn't realize was Jinx was behind them, walking behind them, but she hadn't started her chainsaw yet. So she's walking and walking. The mom sees me and she goes, oh no, goes to turn, sees Jinx. Jinx cranks the chainsaw, causing the mom to spin around, and she bumps into the fence, hits the ground. And her daughter stops, looks at her, and goes, you're so embarrassing, and walks away, leaving her mother down on the ground. So I'm like, oh no, what do I do in this situation? Because
Right.
I've never been in this situation before. So I kind of just like looked over at her and she's like, I'm okay. I'm okay. And she got up and kind of like scurried her way out. And I was like, okay, all right, that wasn't so bad. She wasn't hurt. She was good. Everybody got a good laugh. But it was just the daughter leaving her for me. And the daughter was like, I don't know, 15. So I'm like, of course, yeah, embarrassing mom. There's that one. Yep.
Oh, that's so funny.
I mean, when you get and it's hard too, like when you get good scares, it's really hard to like hide like you from laughing. Cause I mean, like I said, there's been so many handfuls of times where we've gotten good scares and I'm like, I can't break character right now, but I really want to burst out laughing.
Oh, just dealing with a mic issue that we've been working with for a little bit here. I don't know why it's doing it to me. It keeps lowering my mic, but that's all right.
So how long does it take you to get ready for the haunt?
So originally it probably took me about a half hour to 45 minutes, give or take. But actually, Ashley, who made me the horns, has also made me a set of upside down prosthetic crosses that I wear on my forehead. So that makes it,
Mhm.
because before I was doing an old school mechanism that I knew for like a burn technique. And all you do is you take Elmer's glue and then you take coffee grinds and you put it on and it looks like a burned effect. So that's what I would do, was I would literally like smear glue on my forehead, do a burn, like do that whole ordeal with the coffee grinds. But throughout the night, sometimes the coffee grinds would fall into my eyes and I have the sclera contacts. So I'm like, oh wow, my eyes are getting exfoliated while I'm trying to scare. This is great.
Oh
So
man.
Ashley's like, I can make this 10 times easier for you. So now that she made me those, it takes me all of maybe like 20-25 minutes to get ready. So it makes it, honestly, the most tricky part is the contacts, and that's if they just don't want to cooperate. So
That is cool.
It is. So, all right. Haunts are really closely related to horror movies. That's pretty much why I got into haunted attractions. Do you have a favorite scary movie?
oh, always this question. I say I probably do have a top three.
Okay.
My one of them, which even Matthew Lillard himself hates, I absolutely loved 13 Ghosts.
Okay.
That was one of my all-time favorites. Jeepers Creepers was another one of my favorites. I love the original, like the originality of that with the background. And then one of my very first ones watching with my mother was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
So yeah, of course, Johnny Depp.
I'm just gonna put this out here for my podcast partner. Freddie's winning, fucker. My other podcast, he's a huge Jason guy. He even like cosplays as Jason, so we constantly
I
argue.
I will say I do have a Jason tattoo, so I'm
Mm.
sorry. I haven't gotten my Freddy tattoo yet, but my whole left arm is all the Universal monsters, and
Oh,
then my
that's
right
awesome.
arm, yeah. So and then my right arm, I kind of have like blips of everybody, and it was a Friday the 13th flash that my artist was doing, so it's just his mask and roses, make it dainty.
Hey, hey, I love Jason too. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, he's a good one. He is a good one.
Who's your favorite Universal monster?
Oh, one thing. So my mom got me into a lot of like the horror. So one of the main ones that her and I used to watch. So I used to watch Creature double feature with her, and Creature from the Black Lagoon was probably my all-time
Mhm.
favorite. Just too with like the mere fact of like it was actually a guy in a suit doing the whole thing underwater, which I don't know, also creeped me out in a way. So I mean that was good. And then my nana, she loved The Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah,
So of course, like those are like my two toss-ups.
I always went Dracula. Always been a
Yep.
Yeah,
Dracula
you're
fan.
always Dracula.
Yep, Dracula. I mean, you can't go wrong with him. They're all really good
Yep, they are. They were great movies.
for their time.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you have a favorite horror villain?
Oh, that's a good one. A horror villain. Oh my God, I've never actually been asked that question
Hmm.
before. Oh my God, you're gonna get my brain going. Okay, let me think for a second. Hmm. You know what? Honestly, to go back to 13th Ghost, I'll have to say the uncle because he was kind of a
Oh
douchebag
yeah.
where he like, he killed his nephew's wife
Mm-hmm.
and used
Mhm.
her type of deal. Like that's a pretty low move.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm gonna have to go with yeah, he made me hate him. He made me hate him good.
That's cool. That's a first for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any bucket list haunts? Any haunts that you would like to visit or guest act at?
Oh my goodness. That is wow. You know, if to go back to like Halloween Horror Nights, if things were like changed a little bit, maybe not so like repetitive, like that would be one that I would absolutely love to, I mean, just appear in, just because, like I said, to see the sets behind scenes and all that stuff and watch everything get put together, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
You guys also know Nikki from The Haunt, and she just did Fright Kingdom.
I
And
I
after
saw
seeing,
the video and now I was mad I
yeah,
didn't go to Fright Kingdom when I was up there.
well, now I'm like, well, shit, now I gotta go. I gotta go to try and do that one.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I love, like I said, when we were talking in the beginning with Christmas and Halloween coming together like that, I think that's great to have like rabid reindeer and like killer gingerbread men. I'm like, oh my God, that's perfect.
We had a
So, if I mean,
mechanical. What was he like? He was like a mechanical cookie monster.
Mhm.
Like he had like a metal jaw and had like a Santa thing. Like they went
oh my
crazy with this
God.
stuff. They had a bloody cookie man running around. We had a bleeding Santa. We had the Grinch,
The Grinch.
and then
Oh, you gotta add him.
a crazy elf,
Yes.
Kylie. Her makeup was outstanding
Yeah.
that night. Yeah,
Some of the makeup.
they go crazy with Christmas here, and
Oh,
they've continued because we have a ton of Valentine's Day haunts. We have a bunch of St. Patty's
St.
Day
Patty's
haunts,
Day.
and
oh
even
my God.
and even halfway to Halloween.
Oh my God. See, that's what I wish like we had of more around here. I mean, like we have Salem, which like some of the stuff is open all year round, like the Nightmare Gallery, which
Yes,
is great.
Yes.
Yes. That's one of my favorite, but it's not really like a haunt. And then it's
yeah.
like come
No.
October, it's cool because they remove some of the wax figures. At least last that I knew, they removed some of the wax figures and actually put people in replace of them.
Oh,
So
really?
people don't know. Yeah. So they kind of after a certain time they turn it into like a scare
Damn.
thing. One of my girlfriends went and she was like, I forget what she had said, but she was like, yeah, we're walking and she heard like a thump and then she kind of heard like pitter patter. She's like, and I looked and Reagan's out of her bed. She's like, and I knew that's when I had to go. So she just kind of like, because like she cannot do the exorcism for the life of her, and she's like, I swear somebody knew. I was like, oh, I mean, they probably did. It happens.
Yeah, the night we went to HHN, they had The Exorcist, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, see,
a lot of cool rooms in that one.
yeah, see, and that's like a classic. That's what I mean. That's one of the ones that I wish I could have seen because, like, I've heard from past ones of like the Freddy one, the Jason one, and all of that. I mean, I was happy I got to see Leatherface because he's also a classic. But
Yes.
I'm like, I wanted more of that because, like, the Beetlejuice house was fun, but it wasn't. It wasn't scary. It's
Yeah.
Beetlejuice. It's more comical.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the off-season haunts. It keeps the season alive. It makes people keep thinking about the industry because it's such a small industry that it's
It
like
is.
it's funny because I'm like, man, we're only at this many subscribers. I'm like, it's the haunt industry. How many like you're?
You can only that's the thing is it's like I mean, it's amazing to see how much it's growing and
Yes.
like how bigger it's becoming and everything, but like it's so small. I mean, that's why it's awesome how Eric keeps up with the Haunted Overload, like Instagram with everything, showing everybody like he's still working. This man literally works 365 days a year at this haunt.
Yeah,
So it's
I
cool.
watch Nikki's every Monday because I know
Yep.
she's doing something up there.
Yep. I mean, they're always, I mean, and even now with like the first snowfall, they were still there and they're still able to do stuff. It's really when the ground's like frozen that Eric's like, all right, we're going to move everything to the basement of my home. And then once the ground thaws out, he's like, all right, now we're going to move everything back out. And it's just, I mean, it's go, 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 but it's great because it does keep like that spark going
Mhm.
of people to be like, oh, okay, wow, we have something new. Cause I mean, he changes the trail every year, he adds something, he moves things just to keep people, on their toes the whole time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you look for inspiration for your character, or does it all come from you?
I mean, for me, specifically, like with Sister Luci, she was more so, like I said, kind of like that comical factor of like, oh, a demonic nun, that's hysterical. Going into playing with different movies and different character fields. I guess, of course, like a lot of people compare me to the nun, which I'm like, okay, I can see it. She's a crazy demonic nun woman. Yep, that's fine. And then I also kind of played it. I don't know if you guys remember the movie, which was kind of also one of my, I wouldn't really call it horror, maybe suspense, but it was Bless the Child.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so that was another one. So that one's a good one. It's pretty much like I don't even know how you would describe it. There's this little girl who's like a saint, and they're like these demon-ish people are trying to murder her. It's kind of a mess, but it's also good. But that's kind of also where I fell into it because in the scene there's a scene where they're in a church, and church is supposed to be a safe place, but like the nuns aren't safe.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So, and I'm kind of just like picking pieces. And like for me personally, like whenever I watch anything and if like something doesn't have like eyes, if it doesn't have a face, like that's what freaks me out the most. So the blackout contacts were definitely an inspiration of my own fear because if I can't see where something's looking or anything along those lines, I'm done. I'm heading for the fields and I'm out.
Oh, you didn't see that movie?
No.
Yeah.
I have to add it to the list.
You don't understand what I walked into 10 years ago in this relationship. She saw nothing. Like nothing.
I didn't have time.
I had to show her Star Wars, Harry Potter, all the horror. Oh my god.
That's me with my boyfriend. We started dating and we were carving pumpkins and I'm used to watching scary movies while carving pumpkins. Me and my mom, we would do like Shaun of the Dead and then we'd pick like another scary movie to kind of ease into. And he's like, yeah, let's do scary. I'm like, okay, what do you want to watch? And he's like, Corpse Bride. And I was like,
But
that's not scary. That's not scary. He's like, no, but it's good. And I'm like, oh dear. Okay, yep, this is okay. Yeah, we'll ease into it. So we did Corpse Bride, and then I showed him like Shaun of the Dead because there's kind of gore in that. So I'm like, all right, we're baby stepping. We're baby stepping. So and then for me myself, I have seen all but the very last Harry Potter because I'm not emotionally ready for it. So I know what happens. I mean, even with like the whole Dobby scene, forget it. I was an emotional wreck and I was talking with one of my girlfriends on
I was
FaceTime after
too.
that. It was awful, and then I
It
was talking to one
was.
of my girlfriends on FaceTime afterwards, and I was like, "Oh my god." I'm like, "But wait, what happened to Hedwig?" And, like, her face dropped, and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "What happened to Hedwig?" I was like, "She fell out of the sky," and she was like, "Tyler, she died." And I was like, "What?" And it was, like, just all over again. And, of course, like, I know who dies in the last one. I'm like, "No, I'm not emotionally ready for this." And, like, I cried when Aragon the spider died. I'm like, "I'm not ready for this. I can't." And my boyfriend's trying to push me, and he's like, "It's a Christmas movie." I'm like, "I'm not emotionally ready. I can't.
Mhm.
I can't do it."
Yeah, we Star Wars. It was
I saw the first one.
calm down. I'm telling the story. It was the seventh movie when they first came back to like IMAX with Rey. So, what was that? A Force Awakens.
Mm.
So that was coming out in like 3 weeks. I'm like, we're gonna go see it. She's like, I didn't see any of them. I'm like, how the hell did you not see any of them? So we ran the gamut. I did them in story order, not release order. And she's
Right.
like, I gotta wait 2 weeks. I'm like, I've waited 20 fucking years. What do you mean you gotta wait 2 weeks?
I did. I was like, I was so mad. I had to wait 2 weeks.
Listen, I'm right there with you because I didn't see like I saw like the older ones when I was younger. Like I had a cat named after one of the worst characters supposedly, which was Jar Jar Binks. And like that was like kind of where I stopped. And then like once they all started coming out again, I was like, oh shit, I really have to catch up now, don't I? So that was like my whole thing with like catching up. And then of course being like almost every other woman out there falling in love with Kylo, even though he's a little bitch. And I'm like, "Oh, wow, okay, yep, so now I'm invested." So
I liked Kylo and hated Kylo at the same time.
Yep.
yep, he's that type of character to where you're like, "God, you're so good, but God, I can't stand you."
Stop fucking whining. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Like,
Yes.
can you not bitch for, like, 2 minutes? Like, jeez.
So if you could add or change or do whatever you want to your character, what would it be?
So what I would like to do, but I'm not quite graceful, is I would love to add like kind of like stilts in a way to make Sister Lucy appear taller. A lot of people already think that I'm pretty tall because I'm up on the stage. When in reality I'm 5'4", so
Okay.
I'm really not that intimidating. There's been a couple of downward times where like I popped down where like Father Billy's gone out, or it's just me in the church, and I'm like, okay, these monks in here are taller than me. This is not intimidating. So I'm like, okay, like maybe I can do stilts one day, just a little something, nothing like huge. And then I've actually looked into potentially also getting black wings. So
Oh, that could be
Okay.
cool.
yeah, kind of do like the fallen angel demon, which we did this season. I don't know if you guys got to see her. We did have one of our new haunt actors. She did a fallen angel, and she was actually in front of our mansion, and she absolutely killed it. She had the wings and everything to where she actually pressed a button and they actually expanded out. She made I think she made majority of them. She started off, if you guys came in the beginning of the season, she was um in between like the church and the confessional, but then she was able to finish up her character, and she was kind of right in front of the mansion, kind of had her set up with like candles and a gravestone and everything, and she was just this all white angel with blood coming from her eyes, and
Oh,
her
I
eyes
do
were hazed
remember
out.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was talking to her about the wings because I was just like, "All right, now you're like really inspiring me." But like where I am on the stage, it's so small. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
really gotta. If I was to do the wings, I really gotta, because that's the last thing I need is to get stuck and be like, "Well, I can't scare anybody now." So, I know, oh, it's so scary. I really need help.
Oh, that's so funny.
So do you get a chance to go to any other haunts in the area?
So I actually haven't been to a haunt probably since I did Halloween Horror Nights. I was supposed to visit Nikki at Fright Nights, but I'm also part of a burlesque troupe, so that was of course like a holiday party night that we were having that night. But I haven't there's haunts that I do want to, just because like I like to, now that I'm in the scene, I'm like, okay, I want to go see how like other people do it. I want to see what other people do and how they look and the whole ordeal. But like, no, now that I'm like saying it out loud, I'm like, wow, the only time I went was Halloween Horror Nights. I'm like, that is really sad.
It's very normal though. Very
It
normal.
Yeah.
is.
Well, that's, I mean, when you get like wrapped up in it, I mean, we start, we're the first weekend in October and we're Thursday through Sunday. So it's pretty much, I'm like, all right, well, Monday through Wednesday, I can attempt to rest and, maybe get some decent sleep. But
No, I completely get it.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part about haunt season?
oh, my favorite. Well, I love getting together with the Hunt family. That's probably the biggest thing. When I first started, of course you hear everybody and they're like, "Oh, we're one big family. We're one big family." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, everybody's just being nice, like trying not to scare off the new people." I'm like, "I get it. It's fine." But like, we really do. We become such a huge family. I still remember from my first season meeting two of my dear friends now who probably are some of my closest friends. So it's really nice being able to, because we keep in touch. We have a private chat that, we touch throughout the year and talk with each other. But being able just to catch up with everybody again, see everybody, that's an awesome part. And just also being able to bring Sister Luci back to life. She has, surprisingly, she has a pretty big following. I never knew she was going to get as big as she did. And then here I am, my 5th year. She has almost 400 people on the Instagram that I made her. And, we have a couple of roamers who, before the night starts, they'll come in and like check with us, and like never fails that every year, one of the roamers come in, they're like, they're asking for you out there. They're asking for you. I'm like, oh God, now I have to be on my A game. I'm like, oh, sheesh. I'm like, okay, this is great. So it's nice. Like that's one of my big things, I guess, that I look forward to, is just bringing that excitement to people, because I know how excited people are to see Sister Luci doing her thing.
Oh, that's very cool.
That is cool.
Did Eric make you your own T-shirt yet?
So I was featured on one of the t-shirts, but I'm like yay big in the corner. So I'm just like, I think it was like after my first or my second year. So I'm just like in the corner. So I'm like, maybe, I'm like, maybe I'll make another appearance on, we'll see. But
Because
I
it's something
also,
I've been noticing around haunts is certain haunts are using their characters to like brand T-shirts. Like,
Mhm.
yes.
one haunt had like 3 mugs you could buy, each had a different character. 4 different T-shirts you could buy, each with a different character. Then you got Frankie at Brighton, who's just a whole marketing
Yes.
thing on his own.
So
he.
that's it. I mean,
I mean, it's just ideas that I see around that I try and this might work.
yeah. Well, Eric's great too, even if like, even if we end up like, because we had one of our scare actors, she made candles and she sold them in the haunt or at the gift shop. And she made one that smelled like the body bag section, which I thought was incredible. She made one that smelled like the circus tent. She did like a pumpkin one, and then she did like an apple one. And if we ever have stuff that we want to sell, Eric is more than happy to do that
Oh,
for
that's
us.
so
And he's like,
cool.
yeah,
That's
absolutely. Put that
cool.
there. Like we have, I think she was there when you guys came. Joy, she's our black and white clown on the bike in the circus tent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Joy is an iconic character. One of the other scare actors slash our videographer, Harry, actually made like koozies with her on it. He made stickers with Sister Luci on it. I actually have stickers in the works for Sister Luci along with t-shirts. So it's, even if it's stuff that we do on the side, Eric is more than happy to be like, yeah, hey, put it in the merch booth, sell it, do
That's
your thing.
awesome. Yeah, when
So
we were there, they had those shadow boxes.
yes.
And they were great. And I was going to buy one, but it was kind of the end of vacation. I was like, I'm running low on funds, but we'll see what
Mm-hmm.
happens. No, they were gorgeous. It was a picture of the skull all
Yes.
lit up. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I mean, and we have one of our Morgan, who she's one of our scare actors, but she also she's like Nikki's right-hand woman when it comes to building. She paints, so she painted this year. It's a headless horseman for the new season of 2023. And then this past year she did a raven on top of the haunted overload pumpkin. and she painted that too and made prints of that, and that was sold. So
Oh, I
I
saw
mean,
that.
that's
I
a
remember that. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Mhm.
yep, yeah. It was a beautiful piece.
yeah, definitely. And the crazy Skeletor print around the castle is so
Yes.
cool.
Yes, the skeleton. Yeah, that was a lot of ours childhood dreams come true when that happened.
Oh man, that's awesome. So, what's your favorite part of working at the haunt?
Besides scaring people, I would honestly have to say seeing like other people bring these characters to life. You know, like I said, like in our group
Right.
chat, we discussed throughout the year of like, oh, this is a new character I want to try. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And like reading it and then seeing like their visions, it's like, oh, wow. Like, I see what you did. That's incredible. And then just to be able to see, because at the end of the year we do a wrap party, and our videographer goes around throughout the whole season and he records us and our scenes doing our things, and then he makes kind of like a montage and we watch it, and being able to see everybody like do their things in their scenes, it's like we're fucking killing it, like we're
Hmm.
doing a great job, guys. Like, pat yourselves on the back between like your acting and like how your character looks. It's all just it's amazing. It's there's nothing like it. So I think that's one of the things that I really get excited for, is just to like see everybody else like flourish and do their thing and thrive in the month of October.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yes. What?
I don't know. Here, now hiring at HalloweenHaunts365.com.
I'm tired.
You gotta wake up, woman. We're not done.
I know.
We're all
So,
doing great.
what is your biggest haunt moment or memory?
Ooh, we had it wasn't this past season, it was the season before. I always butcher his name, so I'm really sorry. Nick Grofsky, I believe is his last name. He does a lot of like the ghost hunting shows. So he was on um oh my god, I'm trying to think, like Destination Lock-In or something like that, where him and this girl Katrina would go to like these haunted locations and they would like stay overnight like several nights in a row. Um, he's done quite a few shows. He actually came to the haunt and
Hmm.
he came through, and it was really cool being able to see him. And then this season in particular, so we're wrapping up one of the nights, we one of the roamers come through and they're like, listen, like we got like 20 people left, like you guys do. It was a cold night, like we're all just like, okay, yeah, we got this, we got this. So we're pumping it out, we're doing it, and these group of people come in, and Father Billy gets them from the right, which pushes them to the front of the stage, and I lean in, I get them, and I get the person in the front. He throws himself back and he's like, you got me, sister, oh my god, you're incredible. And like, he walked out and they walked out, and I looked at Father Billy and I was like, have you ever seen Criminal Minds? And Father Billy was like, yeah. And I was like, did that not look like Spencer Reed? And Father Billy was like, yeah, I thought the same thing. And then lo and behold, it was him.
Yeah.
It was actually
Um,
him. And like, we were all just like, oh my god. And then like one of our roamers who was like clearing us out was like, did you guys see the Criminal Minds? I'm like, I'm happy you guys told us that he was coming through, because what? I'm like, here I am, like I'm like chitter, I'm like cold, I'm like, I gotta do this. I'm like, I would have done 10 times more than that. Oh my gosh. So, and it was great because he ended up leaving. And then as we were clearing out and everything and the haunt ended, he actually came back and he met with a lot of us
Oh,
and
that's so
hung
cool.
out with us,
oh,
took
that's
pictures.
cool.
He was such a great guy. Of course, like my contacts, like my eyes were so dry, and it was like one of the nights that I tried these new contacts. So I'm like, so I'm talking to Father Billy, and Father Billy was like, he loved you. I'm like, that makes me so happy since I didn't get the chance to meet him. So I'm like, that makes okay, yeah, that makes it all better. Great.
Yeah, you guys had a lot of people come through. You had the Grim Collective come through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only started watching them recently, but I really liked their stuff.
Yeah, they're really sweet. They were cool too. We were told that they were coming through. I actually think they came through the same night that Matthew came through. So they were incredible to meet. Holly Madison, one of Hugh Hefner's ex-girlfriends, she came last year, I think she came.
Yes,
She
I
came
remember
during
those pictures.
Yep, she came during the day haunt, but she came through. I mean, that's the thing is we have so many. There's another channel called Spooky Kisses. They came through. I think this was their second year doing it, so it's really cool. Just for me, because like same thing like with you, like with Grimm, like I really didn't know much of them, and then like once they came through, I'm like, oh my god! And as I'm watching their stuff, I'm like, why didn't I know of them sooner? I'm like, now, I mean, now I have stuff I can binge, so this is great, but
Yeah.
that's kind of helps that grow. So I'm like, okay, this is cool, great. Same thing with like meeting Spooky Kisses and doing all of that. It's like it's nice to be able to meet these people and then have that grow with my interest.
Yeah. Very cool.
That's fun.
Yeah, they get the celebrities out
I
there.
know.
It was funny. A couple, I think they were New York Giants, showed up to a haunt by us, and I'm pretty close with the owner. I'm like, look, man, you got NFL players, you got Halloween haunts coming out, you got all the celebrities coming. He's like, shut up.
Like a red carpet event.
Oh man, that was funny.
We even had it so big to where we had a famous Instagram cat come through because we do the paw walk in the beginning of the season to raise more money for the animal shelter. And I followed this cat. Her name's Maleficent the Magnificent, and she's this beautiful black cat, and she has these ice blue eyes. And I've been following her forever. And I noticed she had pictures in front of the church, and I was like, hi, this is my scene. What? She's like, oh, we live in Dover, and this cat has like I think like 21.4K followers on Instagram. And I was like, what? And she was like, oh my God. So we're messaging privately. Her and I ended up linking up together and we ended up doing a Sister Luci Maleficent photo shoot that actually ended up getting published in a magazine. So
That's
I was
awesome.
like, all because of this famous cat. You've got to be kidding me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic.
That is
Right?
awesome.
I'm like, geez. I'm like, more people know of this cat than anybody that I know of. Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of followers for a cat.
Yeah. Yep.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
And what are our animals doing back there? They need to
Nothing.
step their game up.
Slacking. They're
For
all
real.
slacking.
Useless ass animals out there.
Right.
Need to get them on YouTube. Shit.
I mean, hey, you can get some money for them. I know that.
Come on, start training. I got 2 podcasts. I'm trying
doubt
over here.
Hey, we're doing what we can while they just live their best lives.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, we have a orange one, and he's the biggest asshole cat in the history of the
Okay,
land.
same.
Oh,
My orange cat is also an asshole. His name is Jack, and he's
oh, that's funny.
Jack the asshole. It's I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, how is this a cat? How are you? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
You
have
were so mean.
we have Jax and we have Opie.
No.
Yeah.
I love that.
Opie is scared of everything, and Jax, he's an asshole.
Yep. Yep, that's how I mean we have Jack and then we have Nico, Thena, and Rin. And it's Jack's the youngest. Just got him actually last year when I got home from Florida. And I was like, wow, because his background story is supposedly his siblings were murdered by a coyote. So his mom like grabbed him and like brought him to safety. I'm like, I'm starting to think you killed your siblings and you just wanted to be an only child because of how you act. My God. I'm like, Jack the Ripper is reincarnated into this cat. He is so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our son has a husky who won't go near the cat. Scared to death of the cat. I'm like, you
And
can
they're so
eat
much
him
bigger.
in like a
So much
snap.
bigger.
Yep.
Mm.
They're so
And
much
he-
bigger. It's like, what are you doing?
And he corners her in the laundry room so she can't get out. And all of a sudden you hear her crying because he's blocking the doorway.
What a little bully. This is what I'm saying. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Unbelievable.
It's
like,
the orange
oh,
cat.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's the orange cat thing. I'm telling you. And then like saying, and like, you know, when like cats think they're like hiding and like
Oh, yeah.
Jack will hide behind like the tiniest piece of cardboard, and he's a unit. He's a huge cat. So his ears go back and his eyes are black, and I'm like, well, this is it for me. I know as soon as I walk by, my ankles are getting shredded.
Right.
So I'm like, can we just like compromise? No, it's never a compromise. He always wins.
Very cool. You got any more questions, Your Honor?
I do not.
You don't?
I don't.
Tyler, thank you so much for coming on. It was
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. It was a fun conversation.
It was.
It was good. It was good, full of laughs.
Oh, yeah.
Time.
Got to keep the 40 weeks to haunt season moving. So
That's it.
We try to get as many interviews in as we can, or certain subjects that we want to talk about in, and just carry on to the next haunt.
That's it. We just got to keep trucking. I mean, you know, it will be here before we know it. That's what we always say. Because, like I said, building season's going on right now, and next thing you know, we're going to be like, oh, okay, it's September. Great, awesome. We have 4 weeks. Okay.
Shit, I kick off September 10th. You guys start a little late.
Yeah. Well, so like for us, we definitely keep going, but for the public, we definitely start off a little bit later, and that's why everybody's like, Haunted Overload should be longer, and we're like, do you see what we do? We can't make it longer because we have so much building and stuff to do, and things to put together and things to fix. So
it's a beautiful place. I can't wait to go back
there.
It's definitely, I like to say it's kind of like a Disneyland for horror characters or horror lovers, I should say. Because I mean, and now with Eric moving in, we have the wax figures getting moved in. I don't know, did you guys get a chance to go through the day haunt?
Yes.
So did you see the Uncle Biscuit wax figure that yeah, so he's bringing in, we're getting several of those throughout the next few years to be put in through during the day haunt. So we're really just, I mean, every year it's just a jaw-dropping thing of like, oh, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Eric pulls this out of his sleeve, and I'm even more flabbergasted.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
He is. The team there's amazing.
I mean, he's just, and he builds those figures, like when he starts, like when he told me he was building me the church, it was literally popsicle sticks, and he's like, look, I'm going to make you this, and it was just like a church, and I was like, okay, like thinking in the next few years. Nope, the next year the 35-foot tall church was made, and I was like, oh wow, you did that really quick. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I tell everyone is like, we took the video, you can watch everyone's videos. It doesn't do it justice. You really have to just go and look up at this stuff.
And even just like with the little details and like everything, and then like certain scenes, it's just, you know, like you said, you can see pictures, you can see videos. And even then, I mean, like the work is portrayed beautifully, but it's not until like you're in person that you're like, oh, wow. Like, you know, when I brought my boyfriend through this, like first time this season, he was just like, oh my God, he's 6'6", so he's a giant guy as is. So he's even like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's like menacing how big everything is. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, in certain scenes, it does a great job of making you feel so small, like compared to like these giant structures of everything. I mean, even just the smallest thing of our Reapers when you're walking through, you know, right in the beginning, our Reaper Alley, those guys are ginormous. So it's like, oh my God, in certain scenes, you know, you feel a little bit bigger, and then certain scenes you're like, oh cool, I'm 4 inches tall. This is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's something special there. I suggest everyone get out there. I already told friends of the YouTube channel, like, listen, you just gotta take the drive. Just
you have
fill up the coffee and go.
That's it. I mean, and even if you make a whole day out of it, come do the day haunt, go grab a bite to eat, kind of venture around a little bit, and then make your way right back for the nighttime. You can make it a whole daytime thing, and it's incredible. And, you know, one of the big things with us is we are partnered with the Pope Memorial Humane Society. So it's no matter where, if you come through the day haunt, if you come through the Fright Night Lights night, if you come through a scare night, 10% of what we make every year gets donated. And at our wrap party this year, we found out in the past 10 years, we have donated over $500,000 to the Pope Memorial. So it's a huge thanks to everybody who comes out and has us doing what we love, but also letting the Halloween lovers admire what they love as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a perfect relationship over there.
It is.
Goes hand in hand.
Yep. But thank you so much for coming on. I greatly appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. So I'm going to wrap this up real quick. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Guys, this has been Halloween Haunts, 365.com, the podcast where every day is haunt season. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Halloween Haunts 365 Productions.